Auston Matthews continues to break Maple Leafs records. In fact, his own record, scoring 62 goals on the season. Ilya Samsonov continues to look like he's going to be the number one starter heading into the playoffs with a huge performance. And the Leafs give us a little bit of a scare heading into the playoffs against a potential playoff opponent. Welcome back to Leafs Digest. My name is Darius Domingues. And guys, we've noticed that about 79% of you watching our videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. So if you want to do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything Toronto Maple Leafs. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Auston Matthews, again, breaking his own record, and he is with elite company now. He is with some elite company from the year 2006. I mean, he's only been in the league since 2016, but if you look at the list of scorers since 2006, including Stamkos, Patrick Kane, John Tavares, who's also a Maple Leaf, Phil Kessel's even up there, Brad Marchand, Jamie Benn, Jonathan Toews. You got Auston Matthews there, but of course he was drafted in 2016. He is with some elite company who was drafted before 2010. So Auston Matthews obviously continues to put in that work. Auston Matthews is, in my mind, skill-wise, the best Maple Leaf who has ever played for the Maple Leaf, who have ever played for the Maple Leafs. And he continues to smash his own records. And I mean, he stands alone at the top, and he will stand alone at the top, breaking Sundin's record. Seems like it will be next year already in terms of goals. And I'm sure he's going to close in on points because he is, after all, not even 27 years old yet, which is absolutely insane. And he has a long way to go. He's in his prime right now, and I'm excited for the playoffs because I think he does have another level, which is insane to say. But he's also a very versatile scorer, as we've seen throughout the last couple of years. I mean, obviously utilizing his wrist shot more so, but there's a bunch of different ways he scored his 60 goals this season. He adds another 2 tonight, so he's been absolutely amazing for the Leafs. What do you say about Auston Matthews? He's been everything for this team, and he even gets praise from some of the best players and coaches. I mean, Paul Maurice had something, you can check it out, but Paul Maurice also had very kind words for Auston Matthews this morning, and Matthew Tkachuk on Auston Matthews. It's going to take all 5 guys out there. A guy like that, he's super tough to play against. It's going to take some physicality, being in the right spot and playing smart. That's really what it is, and unfortunately for the Florida Panthers, Matthews took advantage of that and had a great game, and he got a great goal, great play, I should say, on his goal by TJ Brodie. Circling the net, passes right in front, easy tap. That was one of the easiest goals Auston Matthews has scored this year. So credit to TJ Brodie, who's been the center of some criticism this year. So great stuff from TJ Brodie, and obviously Auston Matthews. It was nice to see him get it there, and obviously added 2 more tonight. He got his second 62nd goal on the season, another empty netter, so his second empty netter on the season. So he's had 2 easy goals all season, tapping goals, and what a great season. He has 60 goals that he scored on a goalie this season. Absolutely incredible stuff from Auston Matthews. Is great. And this was before the game. He's on pace for 68 goals, and he will need 7, I guess, less now over his final 8 games after tonight. And only Mario Lemieux has had more than that in the last 31 years. So Auston Matthews, man, he is continuing. We really have to relish in everything that he's doing this season because he's breaking all sorts of records. He's breaking his own records that he's set. I mean, he's been everything. I'm just super excited to see what he can bring in the playoffs because, he had a huge series against Tampa last year as well. He was huge in that series. A lot of people forget about that. He scored some big goals, and I'm excited to see what he continues to do. But in terms of the game tonight, besides the third period, it's everything you want from the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, they look like a completely different team. They look like a team possessed. You have everyone, including Matthew Nyes, getting into scrum, standing up for he stood up for Holmberg on that play there. You like that. Reeves is asserting himself into the game and setting the tone. We've talked about it a lot this season. That's a thing the Leafs wanted to inject into the lineup this year, is setting the tone. Ryan Reeves did exactly that. In my eyes, after tonight, I know they gave it up in the third period, and it got a little scary there at the end. Ryan Reeves has to be in the playoff lineup this year. He does. I think he is a difference maker when the games get tough, and in terms of initiating and setting the tone, the Leafs have not done that at all in the Matthews and Marner area. They've never initiated and set the tone, and I think Ryan Reeves, did that in this game, and I think he could possibly do that for the Leafs in the playoffs. I think it's going to be interesting to see if he, ends up slotting into the playoffs. I think the playoffs are a different game, and I think Ryan Reeves can help them in that department. And we talked about him a little bit in our last video. Nick Robertson. I didn't want to give up on him. I mentioned that in the last video. I don't think the Leafs should. And again, a great goal again tonight, breakaway goal. Great deke, puts it away. And, I think there is something. His offensive game, nobody can take it away from him. He's great offensively. And, everyone has this opinion of him. It's the defensive stuff and it's the neutral zone. The way he's going to stay in this lineup is if he cleans up his neutral zone play, because we know what he can do on offense. But I think he can do it if he works towards it. I think that's a valuable player there. I really do think that. So, I'm going to look for him to continue to score a couple of goals before the end of the season. I wonder if he gets into the playoff lineup because, like I said, playoffs are a different animal. But, he has been showing glimpses of what he can do. So I wonder if he, can continue that. That would be great. And again, the first two periods are everything you want from the Leafs. Benoit. We're going to go on the Benoit train again. Blocking shots with his face, putting it on the line for. This is the stuff we were talking about with the Leafs possibly acquiring Chris Tanev. He's blocking shots with his face. How do you not love that as a fan? That's amazing. So good for Simone Benoit there, with everything he's had to deal with over the last month. So really exciting for him to block a shot with his face, insert himself into the game somehow. He's always physical and putting it on the line for the team. So love to see that. And Samsonov too, again, huge tonight, absolutely huge for the Leafs. And it looks like he's going to be the number one heading into the playoffs. He has been everything for the Leafs this second half. And then after the game in Buffalo, just what is there to say? He's going to be the starter heading into the playoffs, and he won them a playoff series last year. His stats speak for themselves. If you look at his stats from January on, some of the best in the NHL. And, if you put the whole season together, considering his first half, his stats have gone up tremendously. His numbers are great. So he looks locked in. That's the thing. He's tracking pucks well. He looks relaxed out there for his style. I still think he's a little, he reminds me of Cujo a little bit at times where I get, a little nervous, but, he will be the starter for the Leafs heading into the playoffs. He's been great. And, the crowd got into it tonight. It was great. And Max Domi, again, not only has he engaged in the rough stuff this season, as we've seen, the entire season, he's putting in a very good offensive season as well. His 34th assist on the year on a Bertuzzi goal, which I have to give Bertuzzi credit as well. Getting to the front of the net, good stuff for Bertuzzi. And yeah, Max Domi, he's been putting up great numbers. Again, 34th assist of the season, puts him at 42 points on the season. He has come exactly as advertised, and I love everything about Max Domi's game, and I think he's only going to elevate it to the next level come playoff time. And I think that's true for Bertuzzi as well. He puts in his best efforts against playoff teams, so it's going to be exciting to see. And that top line without Marner has been playing pretty good. I like that chemistry. When Marner comes back, I'm not saying, to exclude Marner. When he comes back, he'll probably play with Matthews again. But for the time being, that line has looked very good, and it's brought a little bit of an edge, and I love that. Bertuzzi plays his best hockey against the best teams, and I think that's a great sign for the Leafs heading into the playoffs. So that's great. Again, Reeves, punking almost Matthew Tkachuk, telling him, "Ooh, I'm so scared." I love stuff like that too. The Leafs, they look like a different team from years past, especially the second half of this season, and it's going to be exciting to watch in the playoffs. And again tonight against Florida, they were missing Marner, Riley, Liljegren. This is from James Myrtle, Yarncroke, Klingberg, which is a bit of a stretch in this tweet, Edmondson. And they were dominating Florida 7-1 at that point. And obviously excluding Klingberg because he's out for the season. But you tend to forget that some of these guys like Yarncroke are going to come back into the lineup in playoff time. Edmondson's going to play a big part, right? They're missing all these guys, and they had great performance against Florida. I think that's very encouraging for Leaf fans. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself come this playoff time because with this team in this era, you need to see it to believe it. But I don't know, they look pretty good. And Nye's got a good goal and got rewarded at the end of the game too for standing up for Holmberg. Holmberg sets him up for a nice goal. That was nice to see. And the Leafs end up winning the game. They scared us a little bit, but the Leafs are 17-6-1 in the last 24 games, and they are the highest scoring team in the league in that span. And of course, with Samsonov backstopping them, sky's the limit for the Leafs right now. They're closing in on the Panthers. They could end up with home ice advantage, which was a huge thing heading into the playoffs. That was a huge thing where we thought, okay, they're just going to settle for third and they'll make the playoffs. They'll probably end up playing the Bruins or the Panthers. It looks like they might get that second spot and home ice advantage, and that could be huge come playoff time. So that's going to be exciting to watch too. Great game against the Panthers. They scared us a little bit, but we are in the home stretch. Could Matthews get 70 goals? Let me know in the comments what you think of Matthews' season so far. Could he end up with 70? Take a guess at how many he ends up with, and do you like the way the Leafs are playing? They're playing physical, they're playing hard with speed, they're scoring. It's exciting to watch. Can they continue it in the playoffs? Let me know what you think, and Nick and I will have you or see you for another video tomorrow.